Hey you guys, I'm gonna try to do video. I what I think is the mainstream media and all the jerks, demon possessed people out there right now rising up. I think because I saw, you know, this speech by Reza Pahlavi, well, Prince Reza, and I saw some of like another different one yesterday on 2 TV. And what was I going to say about that? Darn it. Anyway, yeah, I think all these people are trying to steal our thunder. It's like that's not even a good terminology, but you get what I'm saying, okay? Because there is so much. There are so many miracles that we need to be celebrating, but they won't let us because we're too busy playing whack-a-mole with their stupid, horrible questions. Okay? Really, really bad. Darn it, well, let me go get my notes. So anyway, so then this interview or this speech he was making, not really in front of everybody. It was more or less him coming on there and saying, look, this is offensive that they don't ask me anything about the serious stuff, like all the people who died protesting and, oh, they're just bringing up the victims, the fake victims, the terrorists that are the victims, right? Never mind about all of the freedom fighters and the ones wrongfully imprisoned and wrongfully murdered, and they're being held hostage in their own country, and just all this great news, how we're breaking it all down, meaning breaking down the power of the terrorists. And so all of this is, and then not only that, to even just talk about, when you literally are a victim, you kind of need support. You need your public, your friends, people to come alongside of you and be like, yeah, that was terrible, horrible. Nobody's gotten that. First, it was the Jews on October 7th. They didn't get that. No, they couldn't even grieve hardly. They had to just keep deflecting all the evil. Okay? See, it's like they want to steal our celebration. And then, of course, Reza, he's good at... Here, Bob, I'll give you one of these. He's good at, giving them the history. It's so cool. Okay, there's another thing. No, I won't bunny trail. Okay, so, yeah, Reza did a good job. I didn't hear his speech, but his after speech, so to speak. Here, Bob. Where are you? So to speak, where he's basically just kind of, what would it be called? Like when you're pissed at how something went, and so you make another video about the event and what all went on that was so wrong about it, So he was doing that. And then, yeah, basically they're always trying to steal our victimization. We need to instead be hearing things that are, saying, yeah, that was horrible what happened. That was horrible that happened and all this. But no, they won't. They won't. It's so evil. And now wait. Yes, so basically that's, and like, yeah, he did a good job and everything. And you know, Iranian people are very sensitive because they're very hospitable and humane. I mean, the Jews aren't as sensitive to being of when they are victimized. They are so used to hiding it, and because they've suffered for centuries. And I mean, so anyway, but yeah, um when someone is genuinely um humane, authentic, fair, just, good, and they have a big heart, they're very loving, they're very family oriented, and very like, what's that other nationality I heard about? Remember the bounty hunter guy, the white guy in Hawaii with the, I don't know what his name, I forget his name, but I watched his show once or so, and he's like really tan and really blonde and long hair, and his wife used to help him, but she died. But there's like native Hawaiians over there. I think they're called, starts with an S. Uh, but anyway, I think Nick Matei, his dad that raised him, who isn't his real dad, um, he's that nationality. His stepdad is. But that nationality is very, very, from what I heard of that bounty hunter guy over there in Hawaii, that's how they are. They marry for life pretty much, unless something drastic happens. I mean, they are family people to the death. I mean, that's just number one. We could learn so much from the Jews, the Iranians, and whoever those Hawaii nationality, I forgot the name. S, it starts with an S. He said it that night. And then when he said it, I was like, oh, I've heard of them. So anyway, sorry for this bunny trail, but yeah, you could tell Prince Reza, he is angrily offended because, but hey, this is how it is, because of how they are, because of the evil. And like Trump has done, and even Prince Reza kind of seems this way. You know, it's like, I think with these reporters, they try to trip you up, try to trip them up, and then like Trump will go catatonic on them, meaning he will, like, sometimes you need to say, you know what, that's the wrong question. I'm not going to answer that question. Like Reza, he did. He goes, I'm not going to take any more questions. And then he went, and you know what the dumb bee said? Well, I have a freedom of something. And then they try to guilt trip, or not even guilt trip, try to train us into, you must answer me. You must. No, we don't. And he was perfectly correct when he said, no, no more. I'm not going to talk anymore. But then she kept saying, she goes, well, you have to, blah, blah, and blah, 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 blah. And I could tell he wasn't acquiescing to her and answering her anyway. It was more like he was like, you know what? What's coming out of your mouth, I have to set it straight. So it is actually good. Like when Tusi says, I don't mind the trolls, because I was watching him now, and some troll was saying something, and because of what they said, then Tusi starts giving history about the Iranian KGB that, or CIA, that went after the Russians who were doing bad things over there in Iran. So it's good. But like Trump, when they start asking horrible questions that deflects the real issue, he'll give them history and stuff, or he'll give them what we've done, correcting them with what we've done. And he over explains sometimes, and I think that's hilarious, because I think he's doing that on purpose. I mean, part of it is he does want to, and I don't like calling it bragging. It is like you are giving a testimony. You're testifying of the miracles. You're testifying of all the good that they don't want to recognize. And Trump will go on a tangent and he will over explain. And by then they're like, I'm so sorry I asked that. You know? And yeah, I don't remember what the thing was, but Reza could be like, you know what? That instead, I'd like to talk about the prisoners that are in Iran because of who you were asking about. Like, oh, what about the blah blah and the blah blah? I don't know, but I can feel the heat. He's like getting mad. And welcome to whack-a-mole. I mean, he's had his quiet little life in the shadows for a long time. I mean, I'm sure he keeps up with stuff and everything, but when you watch it, it's different than when it's actually happening to you, or when you're reading about it or hearing about it or knowing about it. And then when it actually starts coming at you, it's different. But you know, of course, he handles himself really well. And also, I was gonna bunny trail, because and then I didn't. But yes, the King Cyrus, he's in the Bible. And Persia, no, they're not Arabs, they're Persians. But anyway, Queen Esther, you know, all the Jews were over there. And so yeah, King Cyrus, I didn't know that Prince Reza is basically related. It's like a genealogy thing going down the line, and that's why they still have princes and kings. Well, I mean, England still has a king and a queen, but Iran, yeah, they don't have a president, because they, I guess, stick with what they always were. You know, Egypt had pharaohs. Well, they don't anymore. But Iran has kept it. So I don't know who was before Prince Reza and his father, but yeah. Anyway, there are the Cyrus cylinders. Yes. And even King Cyrus, when he was alive, all those years ago, many hundreds of years ago, he literally read about himself in the Bible that is in maybe Isaiah, and it was written in Isaiah. It might be somewhere else, but he's actually, anytime you read about Assyria or Babylon, which are mainly the two captivity people, I mean, meaning the two countries and nationalities that took Israel captive, besides Egypt. So there's, yeah, Egypt, Assyria, but Egypt, they went over there, see, for a famine, then they got stuck, they just stayed. But as far as being carried away captive, is just two of them. It's Assyria and Babylon. And both of those are related to King Cyrus. So anytime you read about those two, you're reading about King Cyrus, because first it was the Assyrian captivity, but the Babylonians took over Assyria. So now the Babylonians are in control of what the Assyrians were in control of. I'm pretty sure that's how it was. And then it was King Cyrus that took over Babylon. Okay, you read in the book of Daniel, the handwriting is on the wall. That famous famous historical account, just like Esther, the book of Esther, in the book of Daniel, Teke, something, something, and the hand is writing, and that king, whoever he was, of Babylon, he was like, what? They were having a big party. And Daniel came in. They're like, what does this say? And he says, you've been weighed in the balance and found wanting, and your kingdom will be taken over by King Cyrus tonight. And you can read all the history of how brilliant King Cyrus took over that state of the art, biggest fortress, what do they call them? Country, Babylon. It was the biggest, the best place, and no one, it was the most powerful in the world. No one could have taken them over, and King Cyrus did. So probably before that happened, King Cyrus, I don't know if he was a king yet. You can read it all in the Bible. So whenever you read about Assyria and Babylon in the Bible, just know that they're kingdoms. They're kingdoms. That's what I meant to say. Babylon was the biggest, baddest, most impenetrable kingdom in the world at that time. And, nobody was better than King Solomon's kingdom, though. King Solomon was the biggest and the richest and everything. But anytime you read about Assyria and Babylon, just know Babylon took over Assyria, and then King Cyrus took over Babylon. And then whoever took over King Cyrus, nobody even pays attention to that, really. Maybe it was Rome or Greece, because by the time Jesus got here, the Romans were running Israel. And the reason they were even in Israel is because King Cyrus let them go home. Okay, from Babylon. But anyway, yeah, I didn't know he was like related, lineage and stuff. But so also, okay, so a prayer, yeah, so I'm thinking, I hope Prince Reza, and even Trump, I pray for him. So, and Bibi, like you guys need to too, and all the people around them, so that they do know how to, and even, I don't see what's wrong with saying, what, that question offends me. I'd be like, what, that question offends me. I really don't want to answer that. I'd rather talk about me and my people, how we're victims, and because we're the victims. So, but I'm going to just, I don't really want to answer that. That's an offensive question. And I'm just going to give you some history, like he does anyway. He gives history. It's just sad how we have to keep educating. Oops, my battery's low. So yeah, but hey, if we have to educate people, but I hated the fact that he just felt, it's like these people are so evil, they're rude. They're so rude because they have no manners, because they're evil, and they insult, they, and offend, add insult to injury, is add salt to the wound. That's what they're constantly doing to us, and overlooking the real victories. The victories. It's miraculous what we're doing, what's happening right now. That Iran, the head of the snake, And now we got to get rid of these forked tongues. That's what they are. They're like forked tongues, demonic. So I think it's miraculous. I shared like 3 posts. This Southern Poverty Law Center, and that's huge. That's like the fraud that was getting exposed, and probably other things. And then now this is what caused all this fake racism and fake this and that, and allowing mental illness agendas like, oh, I'm the minority with a mental illness, but instead of me being in a psychiatrist couch, I instead want you to accept my mental illness, and this is how we're going to run the country. No, no, no. Go get yourself some meds. Go see a doctor. That kind of behavior is not socially acceptable. It's not good character. It's not correct. And we're not going to pat you on the back and stroke your head and say, oh, yeah, you're okay. Whatever you want to think and do and believe, that's fine. No. Okay. That is morally unequal to our Constitution. And so they've caught another thing. And I was going to say also, what was this? Yeah, okay, I already said that. So now this, what I'm thinking, because I shared the post of the Rubin Report and that crappy lady, what's her name? Elizabeth Warren, like the librarian from hell. Yeah. And then they showed a clip of this guy speaking, and he talked about social murder. Yeah, they are literally murdering the country, murdering the world with socially. Socially. Yeah. And then their guest, he had 2 guests, and one of them is Elizabeth Pipko, and she really said it, nailed it. America is not following along. They really can't even catch up. They're too busy, living life, keeping their head above water. But also, not only that, they already stopped watching the news because a lot of people stopped because they saw it was fake. So now they don't really know. This is going to have to be a miracle from God, miracle upon miracle upon miracle, okay? Because, yeah, people, the good people and the normal people, they've already kind of tuned out, except for the ones fighting, like on the channels that have all the information. But there are good people out there that aren't paying attention to that, these channels. So, and yet the creepy ones, the whack pack and them, they're getting millions of followers because everybody's loving this socialist Marxism. The only ones paying attention are the brainwashed, demented, mentally ill. Their hearts are black, they're seared, they're apostate. Those are the only ones paying attention. The ones with the agendas, the ones who hate Israel. They love Palestine and Hezbollah and all the terrorists. They're the only ones paying attention. And then little old us, who are the few that are paying attention. And then there's the normal ones that aren't paying attention. But wait a minute. Oh, and then so that Elizabeth that he was given a clip of, she's the librarian from hell. She's so disgusting the way she talks. So this is what I'm thinking. These Democrats, how I was saying before, they're going to smile. They love diplomacy. They hate the way Trump is so undiplomatic in his speech. And because that's their game. Remember, I was saying, they talk all nice and they're stabbing you in the back. They talk like Mandami. All the while, everything he's saying is impossible because people don't know politics. Just like we didn't even know the Constitution ourselves. It took Christians and Trump teaching all the Democrats that they were breaking the Constitution. Meanwhile, TPUSA and the big Christians out there with the mouths and the platforms were teaching the lower Christians down here in La La Land that, yeah, the Constitution as well, and that the Democrats were breaking it. And now the Democrats are getting us back with their diplomatic talk and their diplomatic lies. And because the people don't like the way Trump talks. So they know the American public doesn't know politics. So they can spew out all this bull crap that's in their diplomatic language because we hate how Trump speaks. No, he needs to speak nice to everyone because this is fake Christianity where we are nice and sweet and we give the other cheek. And we give them our back. And when they ask us to walk a mile, we walk too. And if they want our coat, we also give them our sweater. Yeah, because we're Christians. Bull. Wrong Christianity. Wrong interpretation. And this is how they get us back. They're getting us back because they know that they're like, oh, we hate you guys for showing everybody the Constitution. And now they kind of have a clue on that. Well, guess what? They don't know politics. So we're going to be saying all this bullshit that's not even possible. And nobody's watching these channels that's checking our ass, that we're lying and all this. And so, yeah. But like I've said, this is like Gideon's army and how God kept telling Gideon, he's like, there's too many here. He says, now, whoever drinks like this, send him home. First he said, whoever doesn't want to fight, you want to go? They're like, okay, sure. Yeah, I don't want to fight. Go home then. Then the rest that wanted to stay and fight, he said, okay, there's too many. Still too many. He's like, go tell them to drink a drink. And whoever drinks like this, you can look the story up in the Bible. Whoever's drinking like this, send them home. So it tells you how many went home. They wanted to fight, but he's like, nope, I don't want them. It's too big. So then they were left with like that many. And Gideon was even scared. He's like, even with a whole, nobody got sent home yet. None of them got sent home yet. And Gideon was still terrified. He's like, I'm the smallest of my clan. I'm the stupidest. I don't know what he said, something like that. And he's like, God, no, I don't want to do this. And then said, oh, yeah. So he kept saying, here's a fleece. We'll make it do this. We'll make it do that. Oh, I still don't believe you. Do this again. Would you do this? You know, he kept doubting. Then when he finally is like, okay, I believe you. Then God starts cutting the man out. Send them home. Let them go home. They go home. And he already thought he was inadequate enough. And then God starts squeezing it down even more. Well, where was I going with that? It's like, so the right are turning left. The Christians are going apostate. The army is getting smaller and smaller, okay? Because, like Gideon's army, God wants to get the glory. He doesn't want the army getting the glory. Not the literal, well, that's a literal army. But, you know, America is a powerful army. God chose us because we're powerful. We've always been powerful. But it was a, what did they call it? A slow decline, a managed decline. And so this is what I think the Democrats are now doing. Bob, don't eat it. It's okay. She doesn't want your choo-choo. Shh. So I think that's what their game is, plus their propaganda, their forked tongue. And their lies, and now we're exposing more lies. We've exposed the fraud, which the Trump and the Obama administrations took all the bumpers off of the fraud. Like in the White House, there's policemen that are not literally, but their job is to police all of the spending and the tax budgets and whatever they're earmarking and dog marking for stupid blowing the frog off the tree stuff. And they sent them all home, said, we don't need y'all around here no more. Or whatever they did. They literally got rid of all that. And then fraud just went through the roof. Okay. So that's what I heard on a video a long time ago. So what I'm hoping and praying is that, I mean, I got this idea in my mind, like maybe it's from God, how, I mean, I've never watched much TV, but in the movies, and this could be like better than what any Hollywood movie could ever do, because God always likes to get the glory. And he doesn't have to try, but he makes it such that it's without question, right? And if you don't believe in God or miracles, you're just going, wow, that was incredible. But so right when, I mean, maybe God wants 2 years, maybe he wants 4 years. But think of the miracle it would be to get everything done in 2 years. But if God doesn't let him win the midterms and then they go after him with all that, I am thinking and praying that, how like in the show or in the movie, they go in for the kill and then they end up getting arrested right when they're, because it was some, like they were bugged and they got caught, and here they thought they were going to get da-da-da-da-da done. They ought to bug some people in the White House and then catch these people. No, I'm kidding. That would be like an internal psyop, wouldn't it? Well, anyway, I'm just hoping that once they start going after, well, I'm praying, when they start going after Trump, they're the ones that get in handcuffs. They're all the one. It'll be like the biggest arrest of bad dignities in the history of America. I don't know. God can do a lot. God can do anything. Nothing is impossible. I don't know if they're immune from getting arrested and put in prison, but I don't think so. I think they've put some people in prison that were in office and stuff like that. So I think that would be so cool. Wouldn't that be cool? You got to think big. You got to pray big. You can't be all clearance item, clearance aisle, clearance shelf prayers here. No, you got to ask big. And I mean, and that's what I'm going to pray that. Because this is ridiculous. This is effing ridiculous. I'm not going through this again. I mean, I say that I have no choice. I'm not going through them trying to impeach Trump again. I'm not. Lord, I'm putting my foot down. Don't let that happen. So anyway, I just was going to say those couple of things about, it's just things got way too crazy for the normal people. They stopped watching the news and now they're out of the loop. And then all the weirdos are exploding even more. The army is getting smaller and smaller. And I reposted that one on Ben Shapiro, how he's saying, no, they're way too far gone. They're too embedded. Their hooks are in. And I mean, I'm just saying, whether it's the end or not, we fight off evil till the death so that we go up swinging in the rapture. If there is no rapture yet, but hey, look, last Trump, come on. What do Trumps do? Trumpets are warning warning. And they're saying, everybody wake up, wake up. It's kind of like when you get a siren for bad weather, or when you're in a war-torn country, it's a siren because there's, like Israel, you get a siren that there's something coming. That's what a trumpet does. It's a siren to wake you up out of bed so you can run to get in the shelter. The rapture is the shelter. And the trumpet blast. Gabriel is going to blow that trumpet. And because Jesus says, I will descend with a shout with the voice of the archangel. That's Gabriel. So, yeah. But meanwhile, we might see some miracles. We might see Ezekiel 38, because I showed you that, shared that clip of boots on the ground. He's explaining the Caspian Sea, and then that's Russian China territory. You know, there's nothing that's going to provoke them to attack anybody. Israel, that's who they would attack probably, because it's Ezekiel 38. Nothing is going to provoke really anybody. It's God says he's going to put an evil thought in their mind. Then he's going to put hooks in their jaw and draw them out. So it's really not even up to them. It's what God is going to force them to do that. We just don't know if that happens before the rapture or if it happens in the trip. So, yeah, I just want to say that I think these Democrats, they've always been out for blood, but now they're using our own democracy. I think I heard that in a video, but not pertaining to what I'm talking about. But the way she talks, she's the poster child of all the Democrats out there, because that's how they are. Oh, let's talk we're such humanitarians. We're such liberators. Oh, yeah, we're so wise. Listen to how we talk. I knew they would turn like this. They go from salivating, foaming at the mouth, rabid psychos to this diplomacy. And it's so evil coming out. And they know that the Americans, we didn't know the Constitution very well, and we don't know politics very well, and we probably don't know any of their backgrounds, and that's why people get, and then they flip states. And Eric Stackelbeck, he was good too, but they don't keep up with the uploading the videos on that channel. So I can't even share that one, but he had, oh darn, what even was it about? But it was really good. I don't know. It was really good though. Oh, it was, and I thought that was a rerun because it was Tommy. He was wearing a black shirt, and I found one 6 days old, but it's a different one. So he's now in America. He lives here now. What's his name? Something Tommy, you know, the British guy that's fighting off Hamas, taking over Europe. So he was on the show last night and saying different things, though, because when I found an old one that was 6 days old wearing the same black shirt, I figured, well, maybe that's it. And it wasn't, but I'm sure it's still good. But this one's talking about, you know, you guys, this is just really, it's crazy how we're fighting it over there in the Middle East, and they're loving it. All the Middle East is going to be so happy that they're free from the Islamic terrorists over their countries and their militaries. And yet now, yeah. And of course, the Western countries aren't going to help NATO because I don't know what's going to happen when their money stops dwindling. And I say that we don't help with the Strait of Hormuz, because that's helping those countries. And I understand it helps the world market, but look what COVID did, and we survived. What's Strait of Hormuz and all that oil in all those countries? I don't know. it's almost like if you open the Strait of Hormuz for business for the whole world, NATO world, that's not backing us, they're backing the terrorists. And that's just more money for the terrorists in the West. I hope it's choking them as well, like it's choking the terrorists. I hope it's choking NATO members, because are they able to get enough oil? I mean, I don't know. These are things we just pray that God gives Trump the great ideas, the best ideas, and that he crumbles. And like I said, whether it is the end or whether all this gets set free, broke free in 2 years' time, 4 years' time, I still think even after it's all said and done and cleaned up, I still think that it's going to be the rapture, because it would be a test that God's like, okay, it's all cleaned up. Is it going to be another 9/11 to where everybody ran to church? And then after 2 weeks, we're like, oh, okay, never mind. Never mind, God. Everything's fine. We don't need church again. And you go back into being ungrateful and ungrateful kids. And, what was that? Second Chronicles something. If my people who are called by my name would humble themselves and pray, and they were all putting that on plaques everywhere after 9/11. That didn't last long. So maybe God will save everything. Maybe we'll go up swinging before it's all said and done and saved. Maybe we're this close to getting it all. You know what I mean? So yeah, point is, we're on earth for God's purposes, not for our pieces of the pie, and to just be Christians so that we go to heaven when we die. No. So yeah, that's my not much, but I just think they're stealing our thunder. They know we're uncovering stuff, but like a true demonic, pathological liar, psycho, they're going to act like it doesn't bother them. Like that Somali woman over there in Minnesota. Yeah. Y'all are so stupid. You're so stupid. I hate you. And I'm going to rob you, and I'm going to get away with it. You freaking... Oh, and Tommy was pointing that out. He's like, that's the hottest place in the world over there is in Somalia. Yeah, why do they go to the coldest states in our country? They're swing states. That's why. They're trying to change. I know the end time prophecies, they try, that's the Antichrist probably. Yeah, that's during the trib. He tries to change times and seasons. But in Genesis, if you read, on that day, God put the stars in the sky for seasons, signs, days, and years. Or is it seasons and years, not times? Because I was looking for that word. I'm like, oh. Because in the back of the book, Revelations, it says for times, and the Antichrist is going to try to change times and seasons. Whatever that means. I could look it up. But the stars are all put in the sky for that kind of stuff. Not for times. But I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I was saying that. But yeah, they're trying to change the swing states. That's why you'll get mass migrant, like Texas. We're red-blooded over there. And it was bad enough when we were getting a bunch of exodus from the blue states coming over to Texas for some reason. I don't remember when that was, but it's like, and they weren't illegal aliens. We have enough Mexican illegals. These were American citizens that from some blue states that were coming over for business, and it was like they loved it in Texas, and then they bring their shitty ideals and they start thinking blue, and it's like, no, you're not changing us. Well, now they're hitting us with the Islam, trying to change Texas, red-blooded Texans, into Islam land. So that's what they do, y'all. That's what they do. But yeah, pray that everything they want for us, the Democrats, putting us away. They're going to go after the little man. As soon as they go after Trump and his family, they're going to start going after all the little people down. They're just going to go down the line. They're going to try to cut the freedom of speech, which they just exposed with this Southern poverty something. They're out for blood, you guys. Satan has taken over their heart. They've been given over to Satan. They're apostate. Satan don't play nice, and he don't play by the rules. So you think this is vicious, expect it to get more vicious and more vile. And don't expect them to relent or give up. And so just pray that the tables get turned. And they're the ones that all get arrested and impeached. And like God is always saying in the Psalms, King David, let them fall into their own pit that they dug for me. Let them get captured in their own net, their own trap that they set for me. Okay, so got to believe the Bible. And you got to pray big. And this is exactly what the Bible is against: bad people, criminals. They're always supposed to be getting what they deserve. Their own pit, their own net, their own trap, their own prison. And maybe God will cut it short in righteousness. Okay? So God bless you guys, and keep praying for them to fall into their own trap and that they're all going to get arrested. Just exactly what traps, snares, and nets and pits they're digging for Trump. They're chomping at the bit for the midterms. And we just got to pray that they fall into every single one of those traps themselves. And these Democrat fork-tongued, lying, sick, just remember, they're all being given strong delusion. They're possessed now. Full-blown, full-on, deluded. They were willingly ignorant, willing liars. God has given them strong delusion. He has seared the hearts. They've become apostate. He's dividing them out. If your heart was black and if you were already a hypocrite, God is exposing it now. He has exposed it. He's not going to let you keep lying to his face. Now, he's going to start exposing you because he's given you over to Satan. And now you're going to start talking like him. Okay? So buck up, buttercup, and buckle up and pray for them, for their destruction. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to turn the other cheek and give them your sweater too and walk 2 more miles with them and talk all diplomatic. Or are you going to fight like the Bible tells you to fight? Oh, but we got to love our enemy and we got to be nice, right? No. Would you please read some commentary and some hermeneutics and stop confusing yourself with scripture that doesn't mean what you're reading it as, okay? So, yeah, get yourself a Christian backbone because they were hardcore and so is Jesus. So, if you're going to be so, why are you wearing armor then? Why? Take it off. If you're not going to use it, just take it off. Give yourself up to Satan then. Go on with yourself. Okay. Well, God bless all you fighters then. And I'll be praying for you. I have been praying for you. So, alrighty, bye.